particulate nature of matter is our topic. Now, what is this particulate nature of matter? As we have been made to know, or you must have known before now, that matter is anything that has mass and occupies space. Anything that has mass or weight and can occupy space. So we want to simply go into the details of this matter. Now, when you under particulate nature of matter, you are going to see some changes that occur when you talk about chemical reactions. We have two types of changes. We have number one, physical change. We have the physical change. We also have number two, chemical change. Now, what is physical change? A physical change is a type of change in which no new substance is produced and they are easily reversed. In which new substance, is produced, but they are easily what? Reversed. Now, when you talk about physical change, a physical change must be separated by physical means. It must be separated by physical means, like using what we call distillation process, as we explained during our separation techniques. Distillation process can be used in separating them. Now you can also use what we call fractional crystallization. Fractional crystallization. You can also use evaporation means by separating them. We say that physical change is a type of change in which new substances are formed but are not easily reversed. Now, when you have example, rusting of iron as an example, rusting of iron. Also, you can see in this physical change, we also have what we call evaporation. We have evaporation. We also have magnetization. We also have number three, vaporization. We have vaporization. We also have number four, what we call liquefaction. Liquefaction. These are the means through which a substance can change from one form to another. But they can easily what? Come back. That is why we say that easily reverse. So that's physical change. A physical change is a type of change in which no new substances are formed and they are easily reversed. Now, when you have all these examples, when you have something like camphor, and if camphor or freeze water, let me just say a block water that you put in a fridge, and by the process of owning your gin, or there is light there, you find out that the water that you put inside fridge will block. But when you bring it out and keep it at a moment, you will see that the thing will now melt. So after the melting of this, it becomes from solid to liquid. From solid to liquid. So it has now reversed back to the original nature of it. So that is why we say that physical change is the type of change in which new substances are formed and they are easily reversed. So when you have, example again, liquid, or you are boiling water, and you find out that the water can move in form of gas to the atmosphere. But it can be, if the gases that move can also return back in form of condensation. it can come back to what? Liquid. For example, if you are cooking or you are boiling water with a kettle, for instance, you'll find out that as you are boiling, when the water boils at 100 degrees centigrade, the gas will be moving up. As the gas is moving up, you'll find out that the gas will now occupy the cover of the kettle or the cover of the pot, as the case may be. So because of that, when you turn the kettle, you now see water. So the gas that evaporated has returned back to a liquid form. That is why we say they are easily reversed. Now, that is physical change, and I have given you an example of those things that can take place and you see as a physical change. We also have what we call chemical change, number 2. A chemical change is a type of change in which new substances are formed but are not easily reversed. It's very, very difficult to return back to its original nature. That is chemical change. So chemical change is an opposite of physical change. Why? Because we say that in chemical change, it is not easy for them to return back. In fact, it does not return back to its original nature. For example, if you want to check this chemical change, you have wood. Wood, when you burn wood, and you have what we call burning of wood. Burning of wood. Now, this burning of wood, you find out that when you burn this wood, it will now turn to what we call ash. As it turns to ash, there is nothing that you do any longer to turn this ash back to wood. That is chemical change. So this makes them very difficult to return. Why? Because there is nothing. And another thing that you are going to see here is carbon 4, or what we call air. Carbon 4 or air. So whatever thing that you call, because it moves through air motion, that is carbon monoxide. Now we have ash. So there is no combination that you can do, or there is no any angel that can come down for ash and air to turn back to what? Wood. So that is why we say that it is irreversible. So they cannot turn back. Now we have in this chemical change, we also have other example that you can take. Example, adding of water to quicklime. Adding of water, if I add water, that is H2O plus quicklime. What is quicklime? Calcium oxide. Calcium oxide. When you add these two of them together, you are going to have calcium hydroxide. That is what you are going to have. Then you check whether if your equation is balanced. So there is no means of returning this calcium hydroxide back to water and calcium oxide, which is quicklime. That is why we say that it produces new substance, but not easily reversible. So now when you watch this place, you see calcium, that is 1. You see that of calcium here, that is also 1. We have oxygen here, 1 and 2. And oxygen is here because 2 here is multiplying the oxygen inside. 2 is multiplying this oxygen here. So we have oxygen 1 and 2. So it's complete. Now we have hydrogen 2. And if you watch here, this 2 is multiplying the hydrogen, making 2. So making my equation balance. But the fact is this calcium hydroxide cannot return back to calcium oxide and water. That is chemical change. We also have another example of this chemical change. When you expose any metal like iron, when you expose something like iron, Fe, to water and the oxygen, I have Fe plus oxygen plus water. When you expose them to in this form, you find out that they are going to produce no substance, but it will not be easily what? Reversed. Like if I have this, I'm going to have Fe2, which is iron 2 plus that of my water. This is exactly what will form at the end of the product. At the end of the product, you are going to have iron plus oxygen plus water to have iron 3 oxide, something hydrate. That is the meaning of that X there, because you don't know how many percentage of water that is present in this place. So now the fact is this, and what you are going to understand is that this particular product you are seeing here cannot return back to this nature. That is why we say that is not reversible. So that is chemical change. And another thing I want you to understand in a chemical change is that all these products that form at the end cannot be separated by physical means. Just like as we talk about physical change, we say that they must be separated, they can be separated, and they must be separated with physical means. And what are these physical means? Using distillation to separate them, using fractional crystallization to separate them, using evaporation, distillation, and other method. But in the case of chemical change, all those things are not there. You cannot use them. Okay, we have difference between chemical change and physical change. The difference between chemical change and physical change. Just as we have explained so far, which we said that physical change is a type of change in which new substances are not formed and they are easily reversed. A type of change in which new substance is not formed but they are easily reversed. Now, unlike that of chemical change, which will say that new substance is formed but not easily reversible. So now we want to check the difference between the physical change and the chemical change. Number one change is this. We have, they are easily reversible. Physical change is easily reversible. Physical change is easily reversible. Why chemical change is not easily reversible? Why chemical change is not easily reversible? Now, in physical change, we can also say no new substance is produced. No new substance. No new substance is produced. Why in chemical change new substance is produced? Now, another difference that you can have there is that during physical change, it does not require, physical change does not require a great heat. It does not require a great heat. Why chemical change requires a great heat. By a great heat. So number 4 you are going to see there is that there is always a change in the mass of the substance in chemical change. Why there is no change in the mass of the substance in physical change? So the mass of physical change, the mass of the substance that are involved, they retain the same mass and the same weight. Why in that of chemical change there could be a loss or gain of that of their mass. So these are the difference between the physical change and chemical change.